new questline, we discovered the most powerful character we had ever known. A guy hired to create a weapon that destroyed the entire super advanced planet of Predacea, which is today's voidstorm. This guy's ghost is still active, he wants to come after Azeroth, and so far a bunch of hints lead us to believe that this is in fact Xal'atath's ancient homeworld back when she was immortal. It's likely she was a light user that could not stop this apocalypse brought on by Akintunde the Unstoppable, and this new questline might explain what really happened on her homeworld back in the day and how the void came in. So let's take a look at everything we just learned. What is Predacea, who is this weaponsmith, and what is everything we know. With Midnight now released, there is so much to catch up to, and you can do that faster than ever with WoW coaching and overgear. It's not just about playing the game more, you can put in a ton of time and never get better. Sometimes you need a more experienced outside perspective. This is where overgear steps in, it connects you with the best players, and they will pinpoint your exact problems that you're making, saving you so much time. It's amazing for both PvP and PvE, and you can become a much better player with minimal time investment with their coaching. Best of all, you can book a session immediately. You can also use my code 10Dorons to get an awesome discount, and you can start your own personal coaching session today with my link in the description below. So, we've known about Xal'atath once being immortal and having her own homeworld pretty much since Karesh, but before Midnight was released, we got the promotional material that showed Xal'atath's supposed mortal form, and it gave us a very cryptic message. I mean, what was certain was that Xal'atath had this childlike appearance and she was a light user based on the body paint, the eyes, how she's dressed. What still hasn't been clear though was whether it was the light that destroyed her planet or whether it was the void, and what really happened back then. The Arator main Midnight cinematic that was recently released that she narrates makes it obvious that she used to be a light user and that something happened back in the day, and she obviously has a personal vendetta against the light, like she was betrayed by it, as in she once believed in it and it brought only rage and destruction, and that is why she turned to the void. Now, that is the current speculation, and we can't really tell, but we have some really interesting information that could have been so easily missed, like ridiculously easily missed in Voidstorm. For some reason, Blizzard decided to put this giant quest behind like a random collect rocks side quest, and this is about as big as most of the Titan lore so far. So as you can see so far, after Dimensius was sealed within the Dark Heart, Xal'atath performed a ritual to take its power and to give birth to the Voidstorm. The Voidstorm was unleashed in the siege against Quoldanas, but it was beaten back. Then we managed to actually cross over and invade to attack her main base of operations, which is a Voidstorm. However, here things start to get really interesting. So this planet is sort of like the void version of Outland. Like how Outland is just remnants of Draenor floating around in the twisting nether destroyed by Fel, the Voidstorm is a planet that exists at the nexus of void energies throughout the cosmos. It's in an even worse state than Outland, and it was once called Predacea, and so far we have strong evidence to believe that this might have been the planet that Xal'atath used to live on, her mortal homeworld, and we have new information on what happened there, so with it, we might be able to predict what happened with her as well. So what I'm talking about is we literally met a world-destroying entity. I mean, this is a quest you can find within Voidstorm. You start talking to this completely random person that is a ghost that has been living in this plane of existence for a very long time. His name is Akintunde the Unstoppable. He was something of a genius architect living on the planet of Predacea. Now, as far as we've learned, this is a world that shone with knowledge and scholarships, bore cities of untold grandeur that shimmered in the sky, a super advanced planet. For context, it's important to keep in mind that if this is in fact Xal'atath's homeworld, and we know it was destroyed before Karesh, so over 100,000 years ago, keep in mind both Argus and Karesh were advanced planets and civilizations, but the entire Argus ordeal with Velen happened 25,000 years ago. The Karesh stuff happened 4 times before that, which implies that this civilization on Predacea significantly outdates all of these, and it's probably one of the most advanced civilizations of the Warcraft universe, of the ancient world. This planet is also significantly more advanced than Azeroth, as keep in mind, back in the day, it was really just elementals roaming around Azeroth, or the old gods just doing old god stuff in the Black Empire. There was a big problem here. Despite being advanced, it was a planet plagued by war, constant war, and at one point a really devastating one broke out, resulting in the destruction of entire cities. The empire that hired him is his own empire, and it started a war they were destined to lose, so they asked him in desperate times for means to end this. He agreed, and he created a weapon so powerful that ended the war immediately by essentially raising the entire civilization of the entire planet. In this final way before the end, he was locked away by the same people that hired him. As he said, he was punished for giving them what they asked for. His weapon wiped out every single sign of civilization, every single city, anything that resembled civilization. Only the smallest forms of life had survived. Now, after this, you would imagine this guy would show regret, like he didn't really mean to do this, but that's not the case at all. He ended up loving this, and he was thrilled to bring forth the apocalypse to other planets. Since then, he has been stuck as a ghost in this plane of existence. Now, when we arrive, his whole idea is to take over our bodies so that he can continue his grand work on Azeroth. He doesn't care who it is, he just wants to bring the apocalypse, and he has the exact knowledge for that. Luckily for us, we end up finishing him, but he manages to destroy, as far as we know, all of his work so that no one can steal it. When you think about this, like, in context, this is an incredibly important character. So far, not even the Burning Legion had such weapons, as you had seen how much effort they had to go through to even do anything to Azeroth, and they had plenty of very powerful and intelligent races. The only ones in the lore we had ever seen with this type of ability so far are the Titans, as they had essentially built this mechanism that would do the same thing. We only stopped it back in Vrat in Ulduar before it could be activated and before Azeroth would be destroyed in a matter of a second. Now, what is super interesting about this is that a lot of evidence points to the fact that Predacea, this ancient advanced planet that was struck by the apocalypse, was in fact Xal'atath's homeworld, and that she was a light worshipper on this planet at some point. The idea is, when this dude unleashed his thing, not even the light could save her, and she realized just how useless the light is. It also explains the entire cinematic where, as you can see, everything around her is burned and the void is around, and she says something about survival of the fittest, so it's likely that the only way she could survive was to take on the void. It's evident that this planet ended up being within the void, but it's unclear how exactly. Furthermore, the other point of evidence for Xal'atath bringing this planet out of pretty much any other is that this could in fact be her original homeworld that was now twisted within the void realm. Now, what I personally don't understand though is why Blizzard hid such an important character and such a big quest behind literally just like collect 6 rocks side quest in Voidstorm, as this guy that we just uncovered, Akintunde, is one of the most powerful beings like literally in the lore that we had ever met. And even more importantly, I don't think this is where the story actually ends. We don't know what he did to Predacea to turn it into the Voidstorm, whether it was a light or a void weapon or something entirely different, and how the void ended up consuming this planet. Apparently, he destroyed his work before we could learn anything, but I somehow feel like Xal'atath may have already taken it, or she might have even brought the Voidstorm because of this guy, because if she can grab such a weapon, she will be able to deal with Azeroth very, very easily. On the other hand, to be completely realistic, Blizzard is known to throw huge lore hints and forgets they ever wrote about it like a few months later, but as someone that has been following these obscure lore hints for ages, this is literally the craziest one we had gotten in years. I mean, sure, we've heard of legends of old planets and people that fought Sargeras and night warriors from other worlds, but we had never discovered a guy that created a weapon to obliterate an entire, and keep in mind, a very powerful planet as well. So far, that type of power was really reserved only for the most powerful beings in existence. So while this is a complete side quest, something serious may be going on here. Xal'atath may have already taken something from him, and this could also be a way we lead into the last Titan and why the Titans have to come back. Well, we did get hints on new planets that we've never learned about, like Nashavor. We're in this zone in Voidstorm, and from what we had seen, the entire Darkheart ordeal that was built over 2 expansions was so that she could summon this exact planet. Honestly, I think it's so much more than just a way for you to get from level 88 to level 90, and it's likely that this planet still holds the craziest secrets. Thanks for watching. Check out the Zont returning and his model we just data mined after the new cinematic of Voidspire by clicking on the screen, and subscribe to my Witcher lore channel that I recently opened by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time!